Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we mostly talk about books, sometimes some other things. Try to have a little fun along the way to help spread the joy of reading. So, I'm going to say right off the bat, the month of March was an absolute failure booktube wise. Started off the year so good, and we kind of really fell down in March. But in the meantime, we figured we'd show you some footage we have. We were fortunate enough to be visited for almost a week towards the end of March by Holly Rhiannon, who is one of the founders of a small press called the Stygian Society, who published this anthology called the Stygian Collection, which I've mentioned before. It's a collection of short stories of dark fiction. And we have a short story in here called The Oarsman, which is a very, very loose dystopian retelling of Dante's Inferno. So if you haven't picked up the Stygian Collection, I would recommend doing it. Bunch of great authors in there. So when Holly was here, we got to do a number of fun things. And we went to a great bookstore in Connecticut, which we will do a separate video for. We have a nice haul there. But then we also went to some bookstores in New York City, where we didn't really haul books. Picked up one book, which I'll show you, but since we had got stuff at the place in Connecticut, we tried to chill in New York. But we did visit three very somewhat famous, really cool bookstores. So the first one was the Strand, and this is a very famous. It's very, very large, very, very old independent bookstore. It's been around for, I think, almost 100 years. And their slogan is 18 miles of books. It's huge. So show a little of that to you here. So this is the Strand from the street. Unfortunately, it has all the scaffolding out front right now, but this is after you first enter, this right in the beginning. Towards the back here, this is like the biggest, this is all graphic novels. This is like the biggest graphic novel section I have ever seen. I've never seen so many in one place. And on the other side, right behind there, there's manga. Also humongous. Right there you can see that they have several people there buying books. You can sell your books there. This when we were walking through, we found this little rack of rare paperback pulps. We were heading back to trying to find that's the horror back there behind. There's some of the horror there. And in a second you'll see this is the science fiction back in the far corner there, and you can see there sci-fi and fantasy. There are several long rows full of science fiction and fantasy. A lot. So this place, it has both new and used books here, so it's a mix. And you can see there's a ladder. There are ladders everywhere in this place because, as you can see, the shelves go very high. You can't reach the top few shelves without a ladder. So they're all over the Strand, so that you can get to those top shelves. So these are you can take these stairs to go up, and this is just from the landing. I took a little footage here just to give you an idea of how big the main floor is. This is on the landing right here. There's books everywhere, even on the landing, as you can see. But up here, it got a view to give you an idea of the scope of that main floor. But you can go up the rest of the way here from the landing up to the top floor, and the top floor is also huge. As you can see, many more books. And right over here, there's actually that right there is a rare books shelf, and that was mostly like, it was rare ones. It was rare modern ones. It was like signed copies mostly. And so down here, we're taking the stairs down to the basement, which is a third floor. And again, I'm just trying to get some footage here just to show you the scope, a little bit of the scope of what the downstairs looks like, or how big it is. I mean, it's just as big as the main floor. So here we'll go down and just slowly pan here to try to get you like an idea of how, it's hard to capture how big the place is. It's got to be big to have 18 miles of books, which is their mod. I think they actually have, they determined it's actually more than 18 miles, but that's the logo, is 18 miles of books. And so we walk back here, you just see it just goes on, and there's shelves going there's tables and shelves going every which way, and in every corner they like completely fill out the space everywhere. And let's just give you an idea of just the rows, just row after row of books. And so they have like a section for everything. Here you see this military section. But like I said, every corner they've got books here. But they don't have, like, they have so many books that they have a section for everything. Like right here you can see, they don't have a science section, right? They have an anthropology section and an evolution section. They have all these like specific sections because they just have so much stuff and they have everything. So this is a part of the philosophy section here. They've got a table where displaying a bunch of philosophy books. Got a little bit of a couple of the sections, but like I said, they have a section for everything. There's the true crime. Here was just a randomly placed table with, or big table with shelves of this is discounted paperbacks. And then they have, I think this was part of the indies section that they had, if I remember correctly. So they do sell some indie stuff there. There was, an impressive occult section back in the corner there. Yeah, so you can see that the best of small press. So they do showcase a fair bit of small press indie stuff. And then up in the front, they have, as you see in a lot of booktubers, they did the rainbow thing up here, which is cool. And so the next one we went to is called the Rizzoli Bookstore. And we went to this because this has been called the most beautiful bookstore in New York City. So this is Rizzoli from the street. They had this little Barbie display in the front there. But as you can see, even just from the outside, looks very glitzy, very fancy. And you go inside here. It's not a huge place, but as you can see, it looks very, very refined inside. I guess this is why it's referred to as one of the most beautiful. It's all this polished wood and looks very, very nice. There's, they have a limited number of particular sections here, and it doesn't go back that far. You can see there's a back room back there, but that's pretty much it. It's not too big. And then this is, you can, like I said, you can go into this back room here. So it was definitely different. Okay, and then the last one we went to, which I thought was the coolest that we went to of the three, is called Argosy Bookshop. And this is famous because they have a lot of really old, really old rare books there. And this, to me, was actually the most beautiful bookshop that we saw. So we're coming up on it from the street, and they right out in the front here, they have this cool little alcove. And they have a few things in this alcove here, as you can see. They've got that like main display of books there, but they have some art, and then right there it's saying old and rare books, prints, paintings, maps, and you'll see all that. But there's a little they have some shelving here of discounted books. Here they have artwork. This is all in that front alcove. These are like signed documents. Kipling, Longfellow. It was pretty cool. And then this is right when we go inside the front door, and as you can see, it looks just great in here. So these are a lot of the old prints that they have displayed in little sections in the middle there, and then all the shelves are lined with these really old books. So you can see it looks like an old library, even with all the lighting, the lamps that they have in there. But yeah, this was really cool to see. It was like being in an old library. They had so much stuff, so much with these old bindings. It was very, very cool. There's a little landing in the back here, so let's just try to get a little footage from it. They have books up there, as you can see, and just try to give you a sense of what it looks like. When you look out over the rest of this is out looking out towards the front. And then you can go, this is a little landing behind. I was looking back here. There's some old Dickens. I almost bought this old Dickens volume with the Pickwick Papers that I almost got, but I didn't. But this is just a little landing, like below the main floor, like when you're going down into the basement here. And so, yeah, they have that was the back room where they you can't go back there. That's like where they're examining books. So this is going down in the basement, and they just have a bunch of rows. This is like the stuff that's not quite so antiquated, This is like, these are used old books, but they're more modern. And so, you can see they have a bunch of rows down here with a ladder, ladders like the Strand did. You can see the shelves go very high. A lot of different categories. And then down here is where we found science fiction. As you can see, it's not much of a science fiction section. So this is not really where you go to get, looking for science fiction. This is not that kind of place, really. But they did have this little section. As you can see, it was mostly actually the old science fiction pulp magazines. But I did find this one book here, The Defiant Agents. And so that's the one that I got. I was particularly interested in that one, which was a nice find because they didn't have that many books there. But as you can see, it's a lot of like the really old sci-fi pulp magazines. These were cool, but I didn't pick up any of these. I think they were $5 a pop, which I wasn't going to spend for these. But you can see some really old ones here. You usually don't see this many. Even when you find these in a used bookstore, you don't see this many. And so, yeah, we only picked up that one book. It's called The Defiant Agents by Andre Norton. We got this because not too long ago, when we did a vintage science fiction haul at Caliban Bookstore or Caliban Bookshop in Pittsburgh, we had picked up this one, The Time Traders by Andre Norton. And this, I didn't realize, but this is actually the first in a series. And so this was book number 3. So we splurge a little bit for this, but just because we'll probably never see this one again. And so it's connected. So now we'll have to find book 2 somewhere. So anyway, so that was it. Those were the New York City bookshops. Like I said, we have the Connecticut footage and haul coming soon, but we thought maybe you guys would like to see those shops in New York City if you haven't been there, or if you haven't had the opportunity to go see those shops. So, okay, you're right. You want to sit down here? You can sit down here. Okay. So Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.